OSAP is a government-funded financial aid program for Ontario students, providing a mix of grants and loans to help cover costs for college or university. And recently, OSAP was restructured by the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford. Before this, the split was 85% grants and 15% loans. But now, the brother of former crack-smoking Mayor Rob Ford has remade the split into 25% grants, with the rest being loans. Big Dougie is claiming that this is for budget reasons, and to not give taxpayer money to support
basket weaving courses.
We want a basket weave!
But I believe his agenda is to sacrifice young Canadians' long-term futures for his rich buddies. But let's see what the public thinks. What do you think his agenda is with these OSAP cuts?
I think that this is all about Doug Ford trying to distract and trying to shrug off his responsibility for post-secondary education in this province. He's got money. Look, he's got billions of dollars to spend on some luxury spa in downtown Toronto that absolutely nobody asked for, or the convention center changes that he says are coming now. Every week he's got some new vanity project he wants to put his name on.
I mean, did you see him building like the science center? He said that the roof couldn't withstand like certain levels of snow and stuff. The science center roof is still fine, and yet they're building.
And the people that made the roof said that we can repair it for free.
Yeah, and he chooses to scrap the whole thing, gets many people out of jobs. Like, I have a friend whose mom lost their job of over 25 years, and now he's going to be putting billions, not millions, billions into building this new science center, this new luxurious spa, right? And when he literally could be doing something like funding education for students.
But he's got billions of dollars to invest in those things, and now he's telling students in the province of Ontario, families in the province of Ontario, that you're the ones that should bear the cuts that he has made, the fact that he has underfunded our post-secondary education in this province. It's outrageous. And let's not forget that it was under the previous Liberal government that we saw tuition hiked outrageously as well. So students are already dealing with really high tuitions, and they cannot afford to have that then downloaded onto them in this kind of debt load.
I see this as direct attack to young people and to poor people who can't afford education. Education is one of the few ways that people can move up class-wise.
I think this agenda is to honestly give more money to the rich, take it away from the lower classes, take it away from the students, and benefit the rich at the end.
And also, as a Canadian, I find this very insulting because I don't want to live in a country full of uneducated people.
Education has historically been something in the 19th century that only the rich could afford, and as such was a way for rich people to separate themselves from the poor people, because they get the education and as such they get the good jobs, which gets them more money, blah 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 blah.
As we know, Doug Ford has been ruling the province for, how long has it been? 14 years, 8 years?
2018, I think. Yeah.
Exactly, 2018. All right, we can't even blame the federals at this point because the federals are in charge of federal issues. He's in charge of provincial issues. So when our people in our province are unable to find jobs, and then all of a sudden you're saying we're going to increase tuition and change OSAP, knowing that a lot of us are financially struggling with finding jobs because big corporations are hiring immigrants in order to pay them cheaper so that domestic students can't get work, then obviously we're going to protest. I don't even know why conservatives are trying to defend Ford on this. No, it doesn't matter if you're conservative, liberal, leftist, right wing, you should be in on this protest.
It's very anti-worker, right?
Yes, anti-worker. All right, I don't even know, how do you call yourself conservative? You call yourself a religious person and you don't want to help workers out and you want to increase taxes on students, all right? I don't even know, how do you get behind that motion? You're ruining what conservatism and religion should mean.
What do you think his agenda is behind these cuts?
Well, apparently from what I heard from a friend of mine, this is because Prime Minister Carney apparently cut off international students from coming in order to appeal to conservative voters. Mm-hmm. And because of the fact that a lot of international students was helping bring in bank for Canada, they're losing a lot of funds. So because they don't have international students to pay for that, he has to increase on the students here.
Canada has some of the most unaffordable housing in the world and is facing mass unemployment, especially for the youth. Ever since the pandemic, Canada has experienced a surge in immigration, far greater than the amount of houses being built or job growth that's being provided. And before you click off, I promise this is not going into some right-wing, we need mass deportations bullshit, okay? Just hear me out. Many of these universities relied on a huge influx of foreign international students who provided much more cash to these universities than Canadian students did. At the same time, the Canadian government on a federal and provincial level has been pushing for more immigration to lower wages and maintain the inflated housing costs of the boomers that vote in elections. So here's my take on this. When the number of student visas being offered to international students dropped off, these schools have now had a huge deficit, and we've seen tons of schools start to either trim down their programs or shut down entirely. And now Doug Ford wants to make it up to these schools by paying for this deficit using Ontario residents.
What do you think his agenda is by doing these OSAP cuts?
Make golf courses, build golf courses, and
take the money and spend it on his fucking Timbits.
buy donuts. Yeah.
You think Doug Ford's a Timbit?
Yes, he's a fucking Timbit.
What flavor would he be?
The jelly filled one.
I like that one.
It's like, he's like a fucking Timbit, bro, like that.
Yeah, I would like to say, first of all, for someone who doesn't even have an education, who doesn't have a post-secondary education, and for him to have the audacity to call like our courses basket weaving courses, that just goes to show how uneducated he is. We shouldn't be having leaders like that. And personally, for me, I'm a master's student. We have such limited funds already from our university, and on top of that, with OSAP being cut, it's like grad students are barely able to pay rent. They're barely able to keep up with their fees and their finances. And then now with these additional cuts, it's just ruining lives even more. We live in a disgusting capitalist system where the rich are only getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That's how the system is set up, because they want as many uneducated people as possible, because that's how control is exerted. Yeah. They need us to stay uneducated. They need us
And when you're educated, you have more options as well. So if you're uneducated, you have less options.
No, critical thinking. People like are undermining. One second, people are undermining the power of university. Critical thinking is a huge thing because it helps us remove the chaff. Like it helps us filter the crap from
your phone,
from your phone, and on top of that, like I'm able to like discern and be able to filter out what is true and what is not, because right now we're living in a society where everyone is just believing anything, and that's a problem.
That's very bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm
okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you for your time.
We're living in the midst of a housing crisis, in a livability crisis. How dare he indebt us by increasing tuition fees and increase the amount of loans that we have to pay for education, which is a human right.
What do you think his agenda is behind these OSAP cuts?
Agenda? Well, we see it as a broader systemic issue. It's kind of like the failures of Canadian capitalism, and he's just trying to like save face. Like these cuts are like only like the first step. You give this guy an inch, he's gonna take a mile. He's gonna see what else he can get away with. And we have to strike now and strike hard while the iron's hot, and we can't like compromise with any capitalist government or any system. And Doug Ford is just another pig in the way of our goal.
Is the makeup like part of the protest, or is it just?
Not really, but I think Doug Ford's a clown, so that kind of adds to it.
Facts.
As a Canadian immigrant, I want Canada to do better. I don't want to live in a country where in 20 years from now, people are unable to find a job other than mining coal for an AI data center because they don't have the money to get an education. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live in a country that's full of retards.